Progress.
Now, let's see how Apex works. How does Apex works? Now, assume that there is a user. User is performing some activities on their system. Let's say developer, right? So let's see from the developer point of view. We will see the developer point of view and user point of view. So if it is a developer user point of view, so developer has written some program here. And once they have written the program, they have to click on this. Initially, the program will be the uncompiled. Initially, the program will be the uncompiled. That means they have just written some program here in the laptop and they clicked on the save button. Right? So when they clicked on the save button, what will happen? It will go to the cloud. It will go to the cloud. From the cloud, it will go to the server. In the server, we have a Apex compiler. And Apex compiler compiles the entire logic, and if everything is fine, like if whatever the code is written by the developer, if everything is written perfectly fine without any syntax error, so what will happen? It will send the compiler will execute in the Apex application server, we have a compiler. That compiler will execute the logic and it will send that logic to the database. In the storage, we are going to store that particular Apex class. Once the compiler is successful and sends the information to the storage, once that class is stored into the storage, it will send the response back to the developer saying that compile is a successful or compile is a error. If there is any error, it will send the error information to the developer. In case if there is no error, it will send the information that successfully saved into the storage. So this is from the developer endpoint of it. So Apex runs entirely on the on-demand Lightning platform. And all the code, whatever the code is written by the developer, everything is saved into the cloud and the storage, server and storage. In the server, we have two things, compiler and runtime. If the developer are executing the program, first time they are writing the program, then it has to compile it. Without compilation, you cannot execute the program. The first thing it has to execute the compile. So compile it, store that information into the data storage Apex class, and then send the information back to the developer user. Now, let's see from the endpoint, end user. End user do not write the code. They will just open up the application. Assume that they have opened up the application and they are performing certain activity here. When they are performing certain activity here, so what is happened here? Now it sends a request to the server. Right? It sends a request to the cloud. From the cloud, it goes to the server. From the server, it goes to the storage. Why it is going to the storage? Because whatever the developer has written the Apex class, it should store it into the storage. Now, based on the certain actions by the end user, it will go and check whether this Apex class is available or not. So it will open up the Apex class. Again, it is say compiled, whether it is compiled Apex class. That means compiled Apex class is nothing but without any error. Is this Apex class is having any error or is it compiled perfectly fine? If it is a compiled perfectly fine, then it will send the information to the runtime. So runtime will get the compiled Apex information and executes it and send back to the end user through the cloud. Now here, whatever the developer is writing it, right? So in between this, we have the logic which is written here, Apex, right? So when we have written the Apex, now that Apex has to goes to the compiler and store that information to the Apex class. And if it is an end user, Apex runtime. So it will be Apex runtime. What this Apex runtime will do, it will take the compiled Apex information and this runtime will execute the logic and gives the result back to the end user. So this is entire flow from the developer to the end user. Developer to the end user. Done? Now this is all about the how Apex works.